Okay, you ready, Dan?
Yes, sir.
You ready, Renee?
I am.
Okay. Okay, good. Am I on?
You are on.
Okay.
All good.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Equalization meeting. Today's March 15th. It's 3 o'clock. And we're going to hold this meeting in accordance with the Nebraska open meeting rules, which are posted on the north wall of the boardroom. In attendance today, we have Commissioner Klug, Warren, Nixon, and Kelly. Commissioner Burmeister is absent. We've got our county administrator, Dan Hoynes, our deputy county clerk and register of deeds, Renee Landsman, our county treasurer, Trace Jones, is also present. If you would, silence your cell phones and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two items on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Warren, second by Klug. Discussion? Questions? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Burmeister. Motion carried.
Okay, all agenda items have been addressed for the Board of Equalization as published, and the board is adjourned. We'll reset for the Board of Commissioners meeting.
You are ready.
Good? Good.
Good.
Okay, welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners meeting, March 15th, 3:02 p.m. Nebraska open meeting rules are on the north wall. We've got 4 commissioners present, along with our county administrator and our deputy county clerk and register of deeds. Commissioner and administrator announcements and comments. Commissioner Mixon.
I have none.
None, sir.
Okay, I have one. I just want to introduce a dear friend of mine. You know, I can't even get my wife to come to these meetings, you know, so when a friend of mine shows up, I want to introduce him to everybody. So I'd like you guys to meet, stand up, John. That's John Glenn Weaver. We served together in the military. I first met John when I was a crusty old colonel, and he was just a, yeah, he was a young captain. And we worked together. He was my executive officer, which means we worked pretty closely together on a lot of issues. And then later on, I got assigned up to U.S. Stratcom, and I was working for a general, and the general was looking for a nice aide, and I said, well, I got somebody perfect for the job. So pulled Glenn up out of the 55th wing and put him in the seat. I don't think he's ever forgiven me for that, because if I said we had a difficult boss, that would be the understatement of the year. But he survived it, had a successful career. He recently retired after 22 years, I believe, as a lieutenant colonel. And, you know, he probably could have been a general, but he made some decisions in the Air Force that were family first, career second. So just a super guy. Called me about 3 months ago, wanted to talk about politics. I told him everything I know, and I discouraged him at all costs from running for politics, any office, but he decided to run anyway. Now he's running for Congressional District 1 against Congressman Fortenberry and others. So good luck on that.
All right, thank you, Colonel.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Really great to see you. Dan, you didn't have anything?
It makes me feel like I should refer to you as Colonel from now on.
Yeah, well, you know.
Is that higher than chairman?
Yeah, I think I'm his XO here most days here, John. So maybe we need to go to lunch and give me some pointers.
Hey, as my wife says, Colonel Schmernel. Okay?
I just
Don't be too impressed by that, trust
I
me.
just want to know one thing. Was he as crusty then as he is now? or-
He hasn't changed at all. I don't remember being crusty. So that makes sense.
Well, good to have you, Glenn. Thanks for coming. So anyways, we've got 7 items on the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve as published unless anyone wants to move one to the regular agenda.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Burmeister, motion carried.
Okay, we got a pretty short agenda today. We only have 3 items. The first item is Resolution 73. It's accept the recommendations of the county engineer and fix a date of a public hearing for the possible vacation of portions of Meredith Street and right-of-way. Andrea Gosnell Parker, Deputy County Attorney.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This agenda item is to set a public hearing on a vacation request that has been made by the Public Works Department. They have identified an area of right-of-way that hasn't been utilized since the original platting of the area. Previously, the board approved Resolution 2022-50, which directed the county engineer to provide his recommendation on the vacation. That has been provided and is attached to today's agenda item. So today, the board, the next step of this process is to set a date for the public hearing. There will be 3 weeks of publication prior to that, and so the proposed date for the public hearing is April 12th.
Okay. Questions for Andrea? Any comments, Danny, you want to make?
I'll keep it short, Commissioners. This came up mainly due to a lot of trees that are facing death and falling toward those homes on the north side. Part of this was just to relieve us of some liability on that. We typically have removed at least 1 tree a year, sometimes, and they're fairly large. So that was the main purpose behind this. And again, 1887 was when this was platted. Not much has happened since then.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions for Drew? Danny? Okay,
Motion to approve.
thank you.
Second.
Motion by Klug, second by Warren. Any discussion on this matter? Questions? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Burmeister, motion carried.
Okay, item 5.2 is Resolution 2022-070, Papio, Missouri River Natural Resources District Urban Drainage Way Program Grant Application for the Buffalo Creek Channel Rehabilitation Project. Scott Bovick, Deputy County Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners. This is a grant application to work with the Papio, Missouri Natural Resource District on what we're calling a stream bank stabilization and restoration project. If you look at the map in front of you, you can see that there's a creek near 192nd and Buffalo Road that is encroaching on Buffalo Road. And over the years, the County Engineer's Office has done some work to try to contain that creek and protect that road. But it's time to find a solution that can fix this issue once and for all. The County Engineer's Office, in consultation with the NRD and with the support of HDR, looked at a couple different options. The first one being what's called a sheet piling system to protect the bank of the creek. And as we've worked through that, we've discovered that's a very expensive project, $4.5 million, and it doesn't really do anything to add to the habitat or environmentally features of the creek. And so, pursuing an alternative, we've looked at restoring the stream, actually relocating the stream a little bit further to the south and grading it out, as you can see on this cross section here. The total estimated cost for this project is about $2.2 million, and this fits right in nicely with the NRD's Urban Drainage Way program. So we've had some meetings with them, and they're aware that we're going to be making this request, and I think that it'll be looked upon favorably. They will fund up to 60% of eligible costs. So if these numbers stick, 2.2 for total costs, NRD requests of about 1.3, and then the county's net cost would be $860,000. Now, this is going to take us a couple years to get to construction. We do need right-of-way from a couple properties, and it will require a core permit, which can be a time-consuming process, but HDR has indicated to us that they're confident we can achieve that permit. And then there's going to be some features for grade stabilization and riprap at the bottom so that over time the creek won't erode and won't be back in the same situation that we were before. So if we submit this application, I think the due date is next week, probably a couple months for the NRD to evaluate the applications, make a decision. If it's looked upon favorably, we'll be back in front of the board with an interlocal agreement with the NRD and then a engineering agreement with HDR to actually start the design and lay out the project moving forward. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have on this project.
Questions?
Appreciate your efforts as always to work with other governmental bodies to make our dollars go further.
Appreciate it.
So I have a couple questions, okay?
You bet.
So 17 feet away from the current road, is that from the right-of-way or from the road itself?
I think that this map actually shows the current roadway. So
So how far are we moving it away from the current roadway? I mean, I know.
right now it's like almost right on it,
Okay.
kind of a straight
You think
shot.
17 feet's enough? I mean, that's, I mean, at some point in the future, there's going to be sewer out there. And it's probably going to utilize this creek. I don't think that's far. That means that road will never be able to be widened unless you go to the north side, right? So do you think, I don't want to, you don't need to answer that.
Yeah,
But there's two requests. Let's take a look at that.
sure.
Offset and make sure it's the right number. And I know we're trying to minimize right-of-way, but that will prohibit any expansion of that road in the future when that area is developed, and it will be developed.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and the other
Good
question
comment.
I have is, because this could be the potential home for a future sewer system, this creek, will this impact the ability to do that?
I don't think so. I mean, the sewer line will have to run somewhere along the creek, and if you look at the large map, this will be an area where there will be an outfall there. So we can ask HDR those two questions. How do you plan for future roadway expansion? And then if there was a sewer line that came in the, future, where would that go? So we can make sure they look at that. And this is a proposed cross-section. It's not been designed yet. So definitely good points.
So all we're approving today is the
Grant application.
grant application?
Yeah.
Well, these are things that we can take forward and make sure we know. You might want to get a hold of our consultant for the sewer agency, engineering,
Yep.
Leanne
Zeitlo. And again, HDR is going to do this for us, and so they're going to have some institutional knowledge about how that would work. So good comments. Yep.
Okay, great.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Klug, second by Warren. Discussion? Please vote.
Ayes 4, absent Burmeister, motion carried.
Okay, the last item on the agenda today is Resolution 77, Nebraska Humane Society Joint Animal Control Services Agreement between the county and the cities of Bellevue, Gretna, La Vista, Papillion, and Springfield and Ralston. It's effective, I guess it's effective until December 31st, 2023. Bill Conley, County CFO.
Thank you, Colonel and Commissioners. Good afternoon. The new format. I was tempted to bring my silver Labrador Lola with me today as a visual aid, but she would have been all over the place. But I'll give you a quick update on the animal control contract. I think you've been briefed on this, but the Nebraska Humane Society provides that service for all of Sarpy County and the city of Ralston. And the services they provide, really the county is the conduit, and so in essence they bill the county. We collect from the cities, from those 5 cities, 6 cities I guess, and then remit, and then the county itself pays for the unincorporated portion of the county. So really there are 2 funding sources that fund the operation in Sarpy County and the city of Ralston. And that is fees paid by the cities and the county. It's a per resident fee. And then there are license fees paid by pet owners like myself. So the proposed and planned extension of the agreement that we've had for a long time would take the fees up 5.8% to $3.19 per resident. And that would go up really retroactive back to January 1 of this year. There would be no increase next year. And then secondly, on the license fees, and I'm going to just talk briefly about that, there's a lot of numbers, and you've seen these exhibits, but in this chart, this shows the various license fees charged by the various cities, but down in the yellow column at the bottom there is the recommended fees that are part of this interlocal agreement. And you can see going across $12.25 for dogs and cats, whether they're altered or unaltered, and so on, and how those relate to the Omaha rates. And so thanks to Dan Hoynes and his work on this effort, we've had communications with the cities, representatives from all the cities, and they are all on board, and we're getting them to also agree and sign up on this interlocal as well. And it just shows that the license fees for the pet owners are certainly lower than some of the other areas and lower than Omaha's in particular. So my final slide shows the services provided, but the Nebraska's Humane Society has done a really outstanding job, whether you're a pet owner or not, in terms of doing animal control services throughout the county. And so really the fee structure is nice in that whether you reside in any of the cities in Sarpy County or the unincorporated area, the fees are going to be constant. And so this is a 2-year agreement, retroactive from January 1 of 2022 till the end of 2024. And special thanks to Bonnie Moore for her work on this contract, Dan Hoynes, and again, the city representatives. And so I'll pause there. Dan, if you have any other comments, and then I'll open it up for questions.
I would only add this is pending approval at several of the city councils tonight, so we should have it wrapped up by tomorrow. And Bill's far too humble. He did the heavy lift on this. I just corralled six cities into a meeting and listened to him and Bonnie, but he doesn't know it yet, but he's getting a dual title, CFO/Humane Society Czar for the remainder. He picked it up and took it, and so he's the one that did the heavy lift.
Questions for Bill?
This is 2 years, correct?
2-year agreement, and the ending of this agreement will coincide with the ending of the agreement that the Humane Society has with Omaha and Douglas County, and so they want to then redo all the agreements at the same time.
Okay, so 2 years, if it starts at the beginning of this year, would be the end of 23. I believe you said.
I probably misspoke.
I think you said
End of
24,
23.
so.
Excuse me. Yeah, I did misspeak on that.
And then
Thank
it
you.
looks like the seniors, if you're haltered, you get a great discount, so I don't know what that means. Is that?
So, when they renegotiate in 2 years, will there be an effort to equalize the rates between Douglas and Sarpy County? Because if so, we wouldn't want that, obviously.
I don't think we want that. There's a little bit different model in Omaha in that they have pet owners absorb more of the cost, even though a lot of the animal control services are really not necessarily for pet owners. Picking up strays or other activities that they do, investigation work and things like that. So I don't think we're necessarily gravitating to that model. They break out the costs separately. The Humane Society has been losing money on their Sarpy County operations. What's before you today will close that gap, if not entirely, certainly partially. But we're not necessarily going to be going to the Omaha model 2 years from now. That's my intent, and I think the cities that we've talked to have no interest in doing that either.
Correct.
All right.
Omaha also has the shop is in their location, so if you want to go, you got to travel an extra, 10, 15 miles. So it's a different situation.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Warren and second by Klug. Any discussion? Thanks again, Bill. Please vote.
Just waiting for you, Don. There we go. Page 4, absent Burmeister. Motion carried.
Protection of the public interest, I move that we go to executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Klug and a second by Mixon to go into executive session. Discussion? Please vote.
Page 4, absent Burmeister. Motion carries.